and welcome to this extraordinary in-public board meeting of the Welsh Ambulance University Trust. Reminder that it's an in-public meeting and that includes the chat function. It is called an extraordinary meeting. The reason we're holding this meeting outside the normal cycle is simply because we need to undertake a fairly straightforward governance process to approve and endorse and note various aspects in concern with the phase 2 of the pilot for ambulance performance and reporting. So welcome to everybody. First of all, have we got any declarations of interest? See any hands up, so I'm going to take it that we have no declaration of interest. We have a number of apologies today from Rhiannon, from Hayley, from Chris, from Angela and from Ed, and they will be duly noted. So the first formal part of the meeting is then to go through and to note, to endorse, to confirm and approve a number of aspects, as I said a moment ago, of the phase 2 of the ambulance performance and reporting programme. So I think, Liam, we're probably going to go to you and Rachel to lead us on this. There are a host of appendices. I would just say for anybody who's watching this programme outside of the Trust, this is a process which has been ongoing for many months. The many documents in the appendices have already been through a large number of governance processes, including detailed scrutiny at the Finance and Performance Committee and also at Quest. And this is the final process to formally, as I say, endorse, approve and note these various documents. So I'm going to take the assumption, and I think Liam and Rachel will probably do the same, that we have all had ample opportunity to read these many documents. I therefore would invite you to draw attention to anything you particularly want us to, and then we can move to the formal part of the rationale for this meeting. Liam, do you want to start off?
It's with me, Colin, if that's okay.
Of course. Over to you then, Rachel.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. As the SRO for the programme, it's sitting with me, but obviously all of my colleagues here take very significant roles as part of this work. So thank you, Chair. I was going to start by reiterating that point, that this has certainly been through a number of routes. It has been through our clinical model transformation board structures, which is where all of the planning has been taking place. It's also been through our strategic transformation board, and then, as you've mentioned, into committees. Just to note, I think at one point in this paper, it does say that this version of the paper has gone through those committees. Clearly, it is previous versions of this paper that has gone through those committees, been updated slightly at each stage. So thank you for that. The second thing I just wanted to pull out and to make sure that everybody was aware of is this relates to the implementation of changes to the ambulance performance framework, and these have been set out and prescribed by Welsh Government. So we are implementing a set of changes that the Cabinet Secretary has essentially endorsed. They fit well with our clinical model transformation, but they are a set of changes that have been described for us, and we are then assuring you via this mechanism that we have got all things in place to do that in a smooth manner. A couple of things I just wanted to pull out. One is that to put on record thanks to everybody in this board, but also to our teams, because we have been implementing and planning for implementation in very short order, alongside obviously BAU work. And so a big thanks to everybody in our teams. We have got a planned go live on the 2nd of December. And the papers do set out much of the work that has had to go on in relation to getting that date agreed and finalised. There will be, prior to the 2nd of December, a series of kind of go, no-go meetings with operational colleagues. So we will have a governance process that allows for a final decision, the kind of week and the day before go live. But the paper hopefully sets out some detail in relation to how we have set out our monitoring and assurance arrangements, and that is required both internally with our commissioners and with Welsh Government. So we're clear about those. We've done a huge amount of work in terms of our operational readiness, and those are set out in the paper. And we've also done a huge amount of work to develop a series of communication packages. Now, those are not in your pack, and I know, Bethan, when we talked in Quest, you asked about this. We can certainly provide those to anybody who would like to see them. The drafts of those were seen at our Clinical Model Transformation Board earlier this week. So they include a range of things: social media, videos, FAQs, briefing packs, aimed at stakeholders, both from a health board and Welsh Government perspective, but also at the public. So a huge amount of work has gone on, still to be iterated in advance of that go live date. But anybody who's interested, more than happy to share some of those as they are finalised. And we will remember that we have throughout phase 1 and phase 2, we have had some risks in relation to our CAD changes, because they are very significant. But you'll note in the paper the good news that actually we've worked very well with our CAD supplier, and it does appear that risk is pretty much eliminated. Although we're testing the changes that they've made at the moment, so we can't say there's no risk. But it's really good to see the work that's gone on there. Just in terms of the changes themselves, you'll see, I'm not going to go through them in detail. We have talked these through: orange, yellow, and green. And the pleasing thing is that we are continuing to evolve to a more clinical outcome-based way of looking at our services and the way in which we're measured. So we've got some outcome measures in the pack, but they are more to be developed. So we are, it's going to be kind of watch this space in terms of trying to get some further clinical outcomes. We've got an evaluation team now in place. As people will know, we've appointed Edge Hill University. They will be undertaking the evaluation of this part of the change, as well as the wider changes in relation to our clinical model transformation. And again, we discussed that at our clinical model transformation board earlier this week. So I'm not prepared. I'm not kind of preparing to go through any further detail, Chair. As you say, people have had the chance to look at the papers and to discuss in various committees. We have got one change to the paper itself in terms of what the recommendation is. So it's just formally to kind of record that where the paper asks us to note the requirement for the trust to further alter its model of service delivery, we are changing that, please, to endorse the requirement for the trust to further alter its model of service delivery and reporting. The rest of the recommendation wording stays the same. So thank you very much, and we're all happy to take any questions of detail should that be required. Thank you.
Fine, thank you very much, Rachel. Can I firstly go to Kerry, because you did send an email to Liam and I think a couple of others, and copied me in with a few points of detail. I know you confirmed that you were happy to endorse these recommendations and approve, but I just wanted to check that you were still content with that, and that you will get the answer to your the three matters I think you raised, which were matters of some detail, in due course. Is that okay with you, Kerry?
Yes, that's fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, fine.
Yeah, okay. I missed the extraordinary Quest meeting, so I just wanted to take the opportunity to just raise a couple of points, but I'm very happy to take them offline. They don't impact on me supporting the recommendations in this paper. And while I've got the mic, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank not only the leadership team, but all the staff that have worked so hard on this transformation. It's so busy anyway, and actually to be leading and driving this work at pace with business as usual and with this quality of work, I think is commendable. So I just wanted to pass on my thanks as well. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. Jane's hand is up, so over to you, Jane.
Thank you, Chair. Just really to provide, if it's helpful, a bit of a reminder of the assurance steps that I think you mentioned at the start, Colin. And as you sort of said, we gave this a good going over, I think, at FPC. It seems such a long time ago now, because that was September. And I think we gave a good hour to that paper in the previous iteration of this. That was evidenced in the AAA report that then went to Trust Board, and very much it endorsed the approach, the go live, etc. Set out the clear roadmap because there was some dependency on the impact assessments, and those have obviously now been done, that we'll talk to in a moment. Certainly, I think I'm very much assured that we've got really robust plans in place in terms of for this preparedness, and that there's the good ongoing risk management, because none of this goes on without risk, but they're really robust. And just echoing Kerry's mention that this is a huge amount of work. There's a lot of people working very hard in the background on this. I noted that the oversight of the implementation is through the CMT board and the Strategic Transformation Board, but I think I wondered whether those there's an opportunity, because of timing wise. We've got the November meetings of FPC and Trust Board, is whether we take the opportunity, in line with the usual update, Rachel, that we have for CMT, to actually bring live some of those checklists that you're looking at, so that we have, that additional assurance of being absolutely ready for this, because I'm mindful we are still about 6 weeks out, and a lot happens in 6 weeks, doesn't it? So I just didn't know whether that was an opportunity to provide that further level.
If I just come back in, Jane, thank you for that. And as you say, it is timely that we have got FPC. We certainly didn't want to leave this paper till that late stage, because we wanted to make sure board were comfortable kind of in advance of the planning work that we're doing. But I think, as you say, we have a normal update which comes to FPC on CMT and all of our IMTP. We could definitely include some detail in there that in terms of the updates that you're requiring, and I think the AAA then will suffice probably through into boards rather than a separate paper, if that's okay to board. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That all sounds very sound. I'm just looking to see whether there are any other hands up. I don't see any others on my list of attendees. Just for the benefit of anybody watching this, as it is an in-public meeting, reminder that, but just to reinforce what Jane was saying, because I attended the FPC meeting, and it certainly did give a very thorough review of the work in progress. And the two outstanding items from that meeting were the impact assessments, the quality impact assessment and the equality impact assessment, which have now been completed and are included in these papers, and which in a few moments we'll be checking that we are content to endorse those. And the other thing I would remind anybody who might be interested in is watching this, that this is a pilot program. Phase 1 of the pilot has already gone live, which was a change of our historically red characterizations, classifications, and this is phase 2 of that ongoing program. It is a pilot, and as you were saying, Rachel, very helpfully in your introduction, it's a pilot which is very formally going to be evaluated in due course by external scrutiny. Good. I'd also maybe just take note again, I think as Hayley was commenting, that we have further governance processes through the normal raft of committee meetings through the month of November, culminating in the board meeting in the end of November, and then all being well, fingers crossed, Rachel, that we do go live in December, planned for Monday. I think it is the 2nd.
Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. To avoid Mondays are always very, or traditionally very busy in the system. So we thought a Tuesday. Yeah.
No, as I said it, I realised that it's exactly the 2nd. Good. I'm just pausing to be absolutely certain we don't have any other questions of anybody wishes to raise. I don't think we do. So can we then move just formally to the 4 things as a board we are required to do? And the first, as you say, is to endorse the requirement for the Trust to further alter its model of service delivery, reporting to meet the Welsh Government's instruction for the duration of the pilot period. Just looking across to make sure we're all content to endorse. We have no abstainers or negative views. We then note the decisions on the implementation date and the risk mitigation that will be informed by the ongoing governance processes, which we were just talking about. That is for note. Thirdly, we are asked to confirm that the board is assured the organisational preparedness plans meet the approved requirements to implement the changes safely and effectively. Again, I'm just looking to make sure that we are all content to confirm that as a solid process to date. And then finally, we are asked to approve those 2 impact assessments that we both, I and I think Jane referenced a few moments ago, the equality impact assessment and the equality impact assessment, both of which were provided as appendices in the papers. Are we content to approve those 2 documents? Oh, good. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. That concludes then that item on the agenda. The only other formal part of business was to receive, I think, the highlight report from the extraordinary Quest meeting, which took place recently, that I think, Rachel, you just referenced. Bethan, I don't know if you're on the call, whether you wanted to say anything about that highlight report before we move on. Over to you, Bethan.
Diolch, thank you very much, Chair. As you've referenced, we did have an extraordinary meeting of the Quest Committee on the 10th of October, and I think it's fair to say that we had quite a detailed and robust discussion around both the quality impact assessment and the equality impact assessment. The committee received a significant amount of assurance at that meeting. We did probe some key areas, I feel, and the AAA report does cover those off in the alert section. We talked significantly about the change management strategy and the importance of staff feeling supported to deliver what is significant change and transformational change, in fact, as we move towards, the second part of this model. We also discussed the communication aspect and how we would be communicating not only internally but externally with members of the public, given the breadth of change. And as Rachel mentioned earlier, there's a host of information already developed in readiness to deal with that. We discussed further the monitoring attached to this, because I think we all felt quite strongly that it was important to monitor the delivery from the outset. Whilst we accept that we have commissioned an external partner to do a proper evaluation, we will be watching closely from day one to ensure that patient safety is maintained as we progress on these changes. And then finally, the last point I would like to make, Chair, if I can, was the conversation we had around points of accessibility for those individuals with more complex needs, but because that's something we've discussed frequently at meetings of Quest. And clearly the new model does introduce the clinical navigators, and the role that they and the senior clinicians will have a positive impact on us better supporting those individuals with perhaps more complex needs. I would just like to say, finally, please, Chair, that the committee were very grateful and acknowledged the significant amount of work undertaken to get us to this point. And we were absolutely assured, and we were very, very happy to recommend both of these impact assessments to Trust Board. And I'm very pleased that they have now been approved. So I'll stop at that point, Chair, but happy to take any questions. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you, Bethan. Any questions to Bethan? All very straightforward, and thank you, Bethan, because again it just reinforces the level of scrutiny that this whole pilot programme has received over recent weeks and indeed months. Good. In that case, we complete the formal business today. Item number 5. Any reflections anybody might want to make? Let's pause for a moment there. It's been a short meeting, so anticipating significant reflections today. I don't have notification of any AOBs for item 6. Again, just checking to make sure that's the case. That appears to be the case. So all that remains is to remind people date of next meeting is the 27th of November this year, and to say thank you very much for attending. Thanks very much anybody who's in public joined us on this call or on the recording of this call, and I'll see you all in November, if not before. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.